I don't like the word entrepreneur. I don't like the word CEO. I don't like the word director. I'm only part of a small little piece of the puzzle. They're the ones that are out there working. They're the ones that are putting all these bits together. I'll bring it in the door and I'll get it to the stage I can get it at, and then they continue it on.
What I say about a true leader, a true mentor, it's not what you can do for yourself, it's what you can do for others. And how many people you can bring along for the journey is what I see as true wealth.
You're living in something that's so chaotic, you don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds. I'm above nobody. I am just, what you see is what you get. There's no difference.
A leader or a king is somebody who can lead from the front or lead from the back. They can put down their own ego to be the same as everybody else in the room. Because in reality and in essence, we're all the same.
Welcome to the Successful Irishman podcast, where we know success isn't only about money and material riches, it's about personal freedom, owning your time and leaving your trauma, triggers and limiting beliefs behind. My name is Dara Byrne, life coach, trauma recovery specialist and entrepreneur. And on this podcast, we will be sitting down with guests to hear their incredible life stories and to challenge the societal idea of success.
I'd like to welcome this absolute legend from Dublin, Ireland, owner of Barróg Healthcare, who specialises in aftercare, intellectual disability, outreach and residential care. Also the owner of Motorzone Car Servicing that specialises in all things cars, specifically sports cars. Most importantly of all, the father of three, the legend himself, Mr. James Webb. What's happening, mate? Great to have you on.
Hey there. I'm good. It's great to say hello finally.
Yeah, we've been ping-ponging back and forward for a while now.
We have, and you know what, like, it's my first time doing anything like this. I'm looking forward to it. I'm curious, about how it's going to go and what the end product is going to look like. But like that, yeah, I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
Legend. Let's have you. Exactly. So what I'm after doing there, the introduction, is obviously getting to where we're at today.
Yeah.
The three kids, the father, the businesses, and the impact that you have in the world. But as we all know, that's not where life starts. So if you wish, what was life like for you growing up? Where did you grow up? And yeah, there was a few of them.
So I was born and raised in Clondalkin. I'm from Barróg, so I was born in 1978. My mum and dad had only bought a house in Clondalkin only a few months. I think when I was born, they were from Oxmantown Road, just outside the Phoenix Park.
Mm-hmm.
So my dad he's a retired fireman, so he was a fireman at the time, and my mum's a hairdresser. So yeah, so when I was born, we went straight back to Clondalkin, Barróg, born and reared. It brought its own challenges.
Yeah.
Coming from Clondalkin, I suppose a lot of people wouldn't know, where James comes from. The type of way they see a totally different aspect of me when I'm putting myself out there. But I wouldn't change a thing to where I started to where I've got to today. Living in Clondalkin, I loved it. Yeah, it was a great place to grow up. There was great atmosphere around it, and because the estate where my mum and dad bought was only a new estate, so it was right behind the canal. We had the canal field behind us, so I have loads of good memories, I think, from growing up. I would have bought like a motocross bike when I was 13 or 14, maybe 15, and being out on the backfield on the motocross bike. My dad was a big petrol head. My brother Keith, type of way. So we always had like Golf GTIs and Peugeot 205 GTIs on the garden, and that sort of inspired me to, keep on going out and buying the stupid cars that I buy.
Yeah.
Started off in a Mark 1 Golf GTI, was my first car. I think I paid £600 for it back in the day because we weren't in euros. That's how old I am, So yeah, so it was different, but like that, it brought its own challenges. I went to school in Barróg, and hated school, absolutely persecuted the teachers. I would say if my mum was sitting here beside me and could tell you stories about having to drag me to school. Didn't like it from day one. The whole structure of it, couldn't buy into it. She dropped me to school. or launch me into school, whichever way you want to look at it. And the teachers would be persecuted with me then. I'd be trying to leave. So school and education isn't my forte. I went into a secondary school in Danesrath Community College.
Yeah, yeah.
Really enjoyed school. In the secondary school, I enjoyed the teachers that I had, but there was a big mixture in the school. I was bullied when I was going to secondary school by a number of different people. And I think it was more because I came from a private estate in Bonoak. There was two private estates. I came from one of them. And I think it was because of the size of me as well. I always had a set of shoulders on me. And I think it was people trying to challenge you then to that type of thing, organising fights for you after school. So I only stuck school out in secondary school for 2 years. So I left after second year.
So you didn't make it to the junior cert or the leaving cert or any of that?
Didn't do the junior certs, didn't do the leaving certs. Funny with this, and we'll go back into this in a bit, my ex-girlfriend, with her daughter and my own daughters, was always given out to me because I'd say to the kids, she don't need school. Look at me. Do you know what I'm but
that's not what mummies want to hear.
It's not what they need to hear. And we're in a different era to what we're in 30 years ago, to what we're in now. Education is absolutely key. Even with staff that I have working for me, I tell them, go back to educate yourself, and push yourself along. But I didn't do it with myself. So I think that was the learning from that. I would have loved them to be in school. I would have loved them to finish school. I really enjoyed the teachers there, but there was too much challenges for me, So
yeah,
we talk about trauma. We talk about different things that have happened in our lives, and I think that piece was a huge piece of trauma for me. The challenge of getting up in the morning, motivating yourself to get to school, and getting to the door of the school. I remember bringing, I had this push bike, a racer, and I was always outside them. So I brought the bike in with me one day. It's the worst thing I could have done. I was dragged off the bike was taken at me, I was back on the bike, I was trying to get out of the school grounds, it's like that rush and run to get home, because I was bullied that bad. And it's probably a lot of things that people will probably hear for the first time listening to me talking about this. My family would know about it, or people that would be close to me, my ex-partners or stuff like that would know that side of things. But yeah, it was tough. It was tough, but like that, we've come out the other side a little bit.
Yeah, amazing.
I'm still dragging it with me. I still have it on my shoulder,
This is it.
Here,
100%. Well, as I say, trauma stays stored in the body. It's like an anchor, a lead weight, until we do the work required to remove it and release it, and free ourselves of those events in our lives. But just for you, just want to commend you for coming on, telling your story, being open, honest and vulnerable and sharing. It's courageous. Fair play. Coming back to school as well. So I was going to just go between the two, but first we'll start off with academically in terms of, learning in school. What was that like for you? We'll start in primary before you go up to secondary.
So, as I said, I always struggled. I always found it hard to retain information. Down to the stage where it would probably be more like ADD, the type of way. So never diagnosed with anything, never put myself through any tests or never asked. And yourself, you're looking back at, I'm 45, 20 years ago, 22 years ago, give or take.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of things just pushed underneath the carpet then, and there was a lot of stuff that was just overlooked, and we didn't know as much then as what we would know today.
True, very true.
But I struggled with a lot of stuff. I struggled with, maths, science. But as I said, the teachers were really good to me. The teachers were very helpful. And I think that's what kept me going to school. Kept me pushing. I always wanted to better myself, but I struggled academically. And I still do to today. I struggle. I was in meetings this morning and work without jumping from one thing to the other. And there's some parts of it that I struggle with, but then there's other parts that just come natural to me,
Yeah.
But going back into my school years, yeah, but I just, it wasn't for me. So I just left it and I went straight working. I went out working a number of different jobs, and I was lucky enough then to become a tiler. So I used to do bathrooms and kitchens
Uh-huh, uh-huh,
from an early stage of my life. And I done that for a period of time. I bought my first house when I was 23 in a place in
legend.
Bono called Leyland. And I moved out of Leyland in 2006 to the house that um, my ex-wife is in at the moment. So with the
Hmm.
kids.
Uh-huh.
So
Just before we run too far ahead, James,
yeah,
again,
absolutely.
incredible stuff. Well done. Um, do you feel like in terms of the school system, do you feel like you could have learned these things in different ways, or you just didn't fit into what way they were teaching it, or you just didn't retain information, you had no interest in learning
I
whatever
think
they were teaching?
nowadays, and I can't think back to what help was provided then, because it was so long ago. Nowadays you have SNAs in schools, so you have special needs assistants.
Uh-huh.
So I think if there had been someone there to help me a little bit more, um, I think I would have exceeded myself. I would have went quite well. There was so many different dynamics because I was being bullied in school as well. It didn't really entice you to want to go to school, you know.
Yes.
Um, so I think even if the educational piece had been right for me, with everything else that was going on, I don't think I would have made
Hmm.
it much further down the line. I
Hmm.
might have got my junior cert done, and then I think I would have left after my junior cert.
Uh-huh. Well, that's where I was at. I was kicked out, not I didn't leave off my own accord. I think I told the story on my podcast episode and probably a couple of others, but yeah, I got kicked out of school after my junior cert and went back in September thinking that the principal was only messing. Full kitted out with all the books and the uniforms and all the things. Only to be told I wasn't messing, like, get out of here. But
You did it right though.
stop it. My ma wasn't happy about that, Jesus Christ. But that's my story. But coming back to you, what you said there about business, and you're in business meeting yourself or in your own business in a meeting this morning, and some things you're good at, some things you're not good at. And something that flashed up for me was Henry Ford. Very similar. I don't know if you know his story.
Yeah,
Henry Ford
yeah,
is, just for the listeners, in case they don't, Henry Ford is obviously the founder of Ford Motors, that grew to be one of the biggest conglomerates of motor vehicles and parts and all of that in the world. But for all of one of his famous quotes, why should I need to be educated in that field when I can hire the best in the world in that field?
yeah,
Do you know?
yeah.
So,
And I'll be honest with you, Darren, exactly what I do.
yeah.
I hire people that do the jobs that I'm not capable of. So I have a woman there that runs the company for me. She's the deputy CEO. Um, so she runs the company for me, and Naomi. And when I'm away, or when there's stuff there that I can't do, she is amazing at putting structure in place.
Hmm.
I'm I depend on her for an awful lot when it comes to the work for Barróg. And she's brilliant. Like, she was in the meeting with me this morning. So we done, yeah, a meeting with a few different people with different dynamics, and you could see where I come into play,
Uh-huh.
and then you can see where I'm taking the back seat and I'm pulling myself back. She's very academic,
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
intelligent, and you can see her taking charge, type of way. So it's great to have someone that I can bounce off with stuff like that. And then, like, Baroque has over 200 people working for it at the moment.
That's
And
huge.
like an admin manager team later role, there's probably about 40 people. And they look after everything that I can't do.
Uh-huh.
So, as I say to people, I don't like people saying to me that, I don't like the word entrepreneur. I don't like the word CEO. I don't like the word director, because I'm only part of a small little piece of the puzzle. And they're the ones that are out there working. They're the ones that are putting all these bits together. I'll bring it in the door and I'll get it to the stage I can get it at. and then they continue it on. So when I go to the office in the morning, and if you were to ask anyone in the office, without us jumping way too far down the line, I'm the one that goes around asking everyone, do they want a cup of tea or a cup of coffee?
Yes.
I'm that type of person. When I get down to Cork, I'm going down to Cork tonight, and I'll be there tomorrow for meetings. And I know that I'll be like, no one makes me tea or coffee. Now they offer to make me tea or coffee, but I'm the one that the minute I get in the door, I'm like, who wants tea and coffee? Do you know what I mean? Who wants a scone or who wants stuff?
In my opinion, a real leader, a humble leader.
Yeah.
It's, you can lead from the front or from the back. In archetypes, it's like a king. You can have a warrior, you can have a joker, which is a jester, and king, warrior, jester, and lover. There's a few of them, but in my opinion, a leader or a king is somebody who can lead from the front or lead from the back without the ego being involved. They can put down their own ego to be the same as everybody else in the room, because in reality and in essence, we're all the same, no matter the job title. And this is the reason for this podcast. This is the fucking literal reason for this podcast. So go ahead.
I just think people that there's two of me. There's James and then there's Jay. So you have James that goes into Barróg Healthcare. And I won't say I'm prim and proper, because I'm not, because I'm a messer, the type of way. And I like to have a little bit of banter, and I have a bit of a joke in the office or on the phone with whoever I'm talking to. And I'm talking about social workers, staff that work for me, whatever it is. And then you have Jay, and Jay is the fella that, I don't like cursing, but backs the bollocks on stuff like this. And gets all the cars and all that type of stuff. But I hate the persona that people look at me driving, a 911, a Porsche, or a Ferrari, or whatever it is that I'd be driving, to look at me and go, look at that wanker.
Yeah.
That's really not me. When I go to a car show, or I was down in the village a few weeks ago having a coffee, and I'm sitting there having a coffee, and kids are walking by the car, and I'm like, I had a red Porsche, and I was like, the door is open, just pull the door, and you can sit in it, and have a look at the car. And the amount of people, I counted how many people stopped to look at the car that morning. I was there for 40 minutes, and I'd say 27, 28 people stopped. Lads, young fellas going fishing. 15 years of age. Lads just from whatever background. I don't know their names, I don't know who they are. And they're stopping to look at the car, and I'm going over and I'm opening the door. The car's open, lads. Have a look at it. Because I want to share that experience with everyone. And I want people to look at me then that, like, you're not like the typical supercar. The type of way. You're not like that. You're above people. Fucking hell, man. I'm above nobody. I am just, what you see is what you get. I'm exactly what I am on the lid, on the bottle. That's it. There's no difference. And I'd speak to you the same as I speak to my kids, and I'll speak to my family and my co-workers. It's all just, I'm sure people may have different opinions. But like that.
Yeah, of course.
True. We all have them,
We have different opinions through our perceptions of reality and our experiences and our own program from our previous life. But just quickly, I'm going to touch on that bike before I bring it back to the bullying. When James said, when I mess around or act the bollocks on these things, tell me what kind of bike, for those who are listening online instead of watching, what kind of bike that is in your living room, on your kitchen, in your kitchen.
Yeah, we were
in your kitchen. Yeah, tell me what kind of bike it is. It's 15 minutes old.
Yeah, I know, it's kind of hard to say that I'm not a wanker and then I have bikes in the kitchen, isn't it? But look, Mayor, I live in a house on my own, the type of way. So if I can have these things, and I put it in the front ground,
you can eat your dinner off. It's soon enough.
The type of way. I'd be sitting in there in my leathers and my helmet on, me watching the bikes on the fucking TV. It's
like you're in an arcade.
Absolutely, it's a BMW 1000R full carbon edition. I think there's only 4 of them in Ireland at the moment. So I am absolutely blessed, and I thank me lucky stars that I can afford stuff like this. I didn't buy it so much to use it. I bought it more so that it's an investment piece, because they stopped making them. So I'm going to keep it for the long haul, I'll do a little bit of mileage on it, but the value of the bike is so much that I'd be a little bit nervous going out and acting the do you know, the type of way. But I will bring it out. I'll bring it out for a few rips, but I won't. I'll probably never drive the bike to the extremes that, you know, it would actually get there.
Yeah.
For instance, the bike does 140 kilometers an hour in fourth gear,
Oh,
and you have
jeez.
six gears, do you know, the type of way. So they do 60 in less than 2 seconds. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
it's
gosh.
an absolute machine. So even the cars that I have, that thing would just smoke them, you know. But as I said to you, you know, I try and buy myself over the last few years. I tried to buy myself something every year for my birthday. So my birthday's in October, the end of October, and I've been saving since last year since I bought something for myself. And I won't say what it is, but I bought something for myself last year just to reward myself for, you know, doing well in life, and just so I have something to remember that day for. And
Yeah.
I got it before I went away with my kids last year, and I was blown away that I could buy this thing. So it was a watch basically, right? But I won't get into it. Like, but so it was just something that I could buy, and I wear it every day. I use it all the time. I don't buy it and leave it sitting in like that. I won't leave it sitting there. I use it, you know, type of way. So
Ah,
I had planned on buying something for my birthday this year, and then I went and I seen this, and because they don't really hang around long, and BMW, in fairness to me, and Joe Duffy's looked after me on the price, I was like, okay, my birthday's coming a little bit early this year, so I'm about 6 weeks ahead of myself. You know,
so, so
so
instead of it being under the Christmas tree there, it's underneath the chandelier in the kitchen.
yeah, it's underneath the big light Andrew has set up here, and that's
Yeah.
smoking me out of here, you know. So yeah,
Oh, we
so
set up the full rig, has he? Well, that's amazing. That's incredible. I just noticed the big M on the side of it. So it's an M-powered bike,
yeah,
the same
so
as the cars, is it?
I'm a big BMW person. I love BMWs, love all
Uh-huh.
the M5s, M4s. I've actually had them all. I've been lucky. As I said to you, I'm blessed to have owned the cars that I've owned over the last while, and I've shared them with everything. Um, as I was saying to you before we started, like, you know, me ex-partner was a big car head, big bike head. So that was brilliant. You
Yeah.
know, that was great to have someone else there to have this buzz with, and was probably as mad as me behind the wheel. Do you know the type of way? So it was exciting. Do you know what I mean? But like that, it is
Amazing.
what.
Amazing, amazing, incredible. Well, thanks for the cap on the recap on the bike. It's a fine fucking machine there. But coming back before we carry on with your career,
Yeah,
just on the bullying in school, yeah, how you mentioned you going into school on the racer and getting torn off and kicked off and pulled back, and you had to sort of scramble just to get out of the school when you were leaving. You know, what was the what else happened along the way, and what was the impact of bullying on your early and younger years?
well, I suppose a lot of people would look at me now as being very outgoing, um,
Hmm.
which I probably am now. And to where that came from, I don't know. I don't know how I got to this stage where I can talk to anyone, you know, and I'm not shy or embarrassed to talk to people. Then it closed me off from a lot of things that I wanted to do in life. And I mean, even like silly things. Well, it's probably not silly things, but looking back on it, you know, like going on a bus, and leaving me housing estate, going off the road that I lived on. Do you know the type of way? Like leaving me estate, you know, I had that anxiety of you might bump into someone, you might run into someone. Do you know the type of way? And that's the fear factor, you know. So I closed myself off from a lot of Clondalkin. Do you know the type of way? And
Mm.
I thinking back of it there now because we're talking about it, like, you know, like, geez, like it was scary. You know, I'm like, I'm not a small person. Now, I was always very trim when I was a kid, says you. We all were. Do you know the type of way? And then you get to a stage and you have a belly on you and whatever. But
You become a
like,
dad, is that what you're saying?
yeah, and that's the dad bod. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if they call it that, but look, we won't get into it. You know what I mean? But yeah, look, I was scared fucking shitless of leaving me road, you know, and leaving the housing estate. wasn't a nice place to be. It felt very alone. Now my mum and dad are still alive. My dad is 79 years old, and my mum is, I probably always get this wrong, 76, 77. Her birthday was in April. And they're my best friends. I probably didn't lean on them enough then because we had so much going on, so many different dynamics going on within the house. And, my mum and dad used to foster kids. So while I was dealing with all of my stuff, my mum and dad would have had different kids bouncing in and out of the house, we had anything from, and like that, I'm just trying to work it out. We had anything from 5 different kids to 10 kids on a rotating shift over probably a 10-year period, the type of way. So like my mum and dad are real heroes. And I talked before about, on the Barróg website, I talked about where I got the idea of Barróg and what opened my eyes up into social and healthcare, and it was them bringing different kids into the house, the type of way. So
incredible.
Yeah.
Fair play to them. And fair play to you again, flipping over the leaf and feeling the fear and doing it anyways, putting yourself out there, setting up your own business/businesses in your case, and becoming an outgoing person as opposed to hiding off and being an introvert is incredible. Your parents, was that the video that I believe was seen on your Instagram maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago? That's what they were talking about on there, was it?
Yeah, we actually only talked about this before we started. My sister Kathy, who was in some of my Instagram pictures, and we were away there. So my sister and her daughter came away. So my sister was on the video, my mum and dad were on the video, and then we done a video of me brother, and my other sister, my auntie. We done a separate video just for the family to take away from it, type of way. But my mum and dad were on it, and like I said to you, my mum she's like a mum. She can read me like a book. For years, like she could just, before I even opened my mouth, she just reads my body language, And my mum had a stroke a few years ago, so there has been a bit of a change in her. Over the last few years, her filter has kind of gone, which is kind of a little bit funny. She'll just come out and, if you're putting on a bit of weight, she'll just come out and tell you instead of trying to be nice about it. So
yeah.
Fucking gas. She's hilarious. But like as I said to you, like my mum and dad have always been there for us. No matter what shit I've brought back to the door, no matter what hassle that I've brought back to the door, no matter what madness I've done in my life, they've always been there, and I'm always open to talking to them. I tell them every aspect of my life. I was talking to my dad the other night, and I was telling him, I was talking to yourself and doing the podcast, and sure, like he was looking at me going, "Podcast? What story? What's that?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, "I'll show you when it's done." I might show you. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Well, we're flying so far anyways, but yes, not all heroes wear capes. And it's incredible to get into these conversations because I feel there's so much wisdom and goodness here in Ireland. And a lot of it gets overshadowed by all the other things and, alcohol, which again, I drink as well as everyone else. Well, most people, I won't blanket everybody. But, there's a lot really good wisdom and a lot of really good mentors here in Ireland that I feel one, don't get the recognition they deserve, and two, the younger generation could learn a lot more from. I won't say should do anything, because nobody should do anything, but I know for me and my personal experience, and again, when I was that age, when I was younger, I knew everything, put it that way. I didn't want to listen to anybody. But now, as I got older, anybody that's in a line of work that I love, or anything, it doesn't matter. If I see somebody that loves what they do, I'm interested to hear what their story is to get there, hence the podcast again. So I feel that, in terms of mentors, because mental health is a big problem in this country. In terms of mentors, instead of, having the know-it-all mentality, we could learn a lot from each other, especially our elders and especially our parents. All the kids that you said, I think you said 10, or was it 10?
Roughly 10, give or take, yeah.
Roughly 10 over a few year period. How did all of those kids, is there a connection there? Do you still talk
No,
to any of them, or what way
no,
does that
you know what?
system work?
So we have one lad that's with us long term, now like he's
Uh-huh.
29, another type of way, and he would still link in with my mum and dad. And yeah, I won't go into too much about him,
Uh-huh.
because I don't want to talk about anyone that's not here. Or I
Yeah,
haven't
that's
told.
that's that's okay. That's okay.
My mum and dad have treated him like he's a son, and they
Hmm.
brought him in. We've all brought him in as, it's a family, brothers and
Yeah, yeah.
sisters. There's been a lot of difficulties there over the last while, but like that, my mum and dad are still there for him.
Hmm.
The way. I know I've fallen out with him a number of times, but my mum and dad, as I said to you, they don't leave anyone.
Hmm.
They're just fucking salt of the earth. Like, they won't back away from people when there's trouble there, when there's problems. If they did, I would have been gone a long time ago. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
So
Blood or not.
it was a strange feeling, but it was good outlook on things when you come home and you'd have different kids there. Like we'd one. I'll tell you a quick story because I
Yeah.
know,
Okay, Grant.
I I would come home one day and my mum and dad do a food shop. So back in whenever it was 20 odd years ago, there was only the Duns up in Kilnamanagh. So there was Duns in Kilnamanagh shopping centre. So my mum used to go shopping and she'd bring the kids with them. And she said like that. One of the young lads that was with us, she said he was a great helper. She said he was always willing to help, put food in the trolley, put food in the car, and bring it in, put it in the shelves, and then over a day or two, you'd see food going missing. And my mum said, she goes, I used to find them underneath the bed, or hidden underneath the mattress, or in his pillowcase and stuff like that. And back then, I used to go, what is he doing? Like, why is he robbing the food? It's in the presses. But then when you look at it, he didn't have food. They didn't have food in their house.
Uh-huh.
So he was storing it for himself, really, and
Hmm.
it's very fucking sad. Like, it's very sad to think, and like that goes on today. How much, like, it's huge, like, the neglect that's out there.
Hmm.
And I was working in the homeless services in town. I worked in two different organizations, and it was 2016, I think it was. And I opened the door one Sunday morning. We were letting people out because in the home services it was just overnight, so they came in from 6 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock in the morning they had to be gone. So we'd have them dinner in the evenings and then breakfast in the
That's
morning. And it was gone until 6 o'clock again, and they're on the free phone and ringing in to get a bed. And I opened the door one Sunday morning, and I looked at this lad standing in front of me, and it was the uncle that my mum and dad had in the house. And I stood there, and I was actually a little bit like thinking of it now. I'm blown away by it. He was rough and ready. He had only come out of prison, and he had had a number of stints in prison, and he was barred from some of the services that we provided. And when I
uh-huh.
stood there looked at him, I was like, holy shit, like, that was 10 years ago, and now you're 19, 20 or 21 or whatever he was, And I couldn't believe it. This lad is 6 foot tall, 6'2", big stocky lad. And I was like, I said his name, and then sure he looks at me going, how the fuck do you know me now? I
Wow.
couldn't say, who I was and my mum and dad. I couldn't, from a professional point of view, I couldn't bring it into it. Do you know the type of way? And I remember he pushed his way by me, and I was like, all right, so he's not doing great. He's not in a great place still. And
Uh-huh.
I only talked about him a while ago to my sister, Kathy. And yeah, I don't know where he is now. I don't know where any of the kids are now. Kathy, every now and again, will probably look one or two of them up that we would have had. And she's the mammy of the family. Do you know the type of way?
Hmm.
Yeah. And so she keeps in contact with everyone. When there's news going on in the family, she knows about it before anyone knows about it. I think she's on a special Facebook page or something.
That's amazing. Fair
So,
play to her.
yeah, so I met this young fella, and I couldn't say who I was. And I told him, he asked me my name, and I told him my name, but I could see him looking at me when I said my second name. I could see him looking at me going, that kind of rang a bell.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but he did
So
leave. You know, he left the service because I thought he shouldn't have been there at that time. But it was
what?
mad to come
Just
across someone that, you know, had been in me past, you know.
coming, yeah, full circle. Um, Two questions, right? One on that. What, you know, fair play to you again. I commend your work in those services. You know, Ireland definitely needs it, and I feel there's way more homeless families and loads of kids,
It's gone
which
to a
is
record all high now at the moment. I think I read it the other day. It was like 14,000 people in the homeless services.
hmm
I don't know if that's Dublin or Ireland. I'd have to double check it, you know, or if someone
yeah,
out there looking at the podcast and they want to go and check it themselves. But I think it's about 14,000 at
yeah,
the moment.
yeah. I think it might be the whole of Ireland because my father-in-law as well. They what's it, that raise the roof campaign? They get them with them, Aimwood MC, Mary Black, all of those to help
Yeah, yeah.
house the homeless. But coming back to the question, what do you think about that rule or law or whatever it is that there's only services for 24 hours and you know, you've got families, let's call it a family of four, you've got a family of four coming in. They have two young kids, the husband and the wife, they're homeless. They check in and they get kicked out again at 12 or what's it, 10 o'clock in the
10
morning.
o'clock, yeah.
Yeah, you know, what's your opinion on that?
As I suppose, like I'd have a lot of empathy. It's hard to tell people to live. So it's hard to ask people to live. It's hard to see families and kids and vulnerable adults, you know, leaving and going out onto the streets.
hmm
Uh, I don't want to name the organisation that I work for, but I remember the owner of the organisation. One day I was in the office and I got a lad came in and he was he was a rough fucker, you know what I mean? But he was okay. He wasn't the worst, you know. They all put on this front. It's a little bit like some of them are a little bit like prison rules. Some of them are there for help. Some of them are there looking for the help, and some of them will absolutely, you know, get all the rewards from it if they push themselves. And then you have some that are just they probably have not they know no better. So that's their way of life. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
one lad in the office one day and he was like, you know, give me a tenner because I need to go and get a fix. And I was like, where am I going to get a tenner from? Do you know, it's wait, no, I hadn't got a fucking washer back then. I was
Yeah.
driving a 1993 Volkswagen Golf, 1.9 diesel. I couldn't even afford a TDI. It was just a normal diesel. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't afford insurance on it. I was barely paying the insurance on it. There was no NCT on it. I'd say it was never taxed in probably 2 years when I had it. I hadn't got a washer. So I was literally working just to feed the family and whatever. And he came into the office and he goes, look, I need a tenner. I was like, there's no way, like, you know, I'm not giving you a tenner. And he was like, well, ring the chap that ran the organisation, chap from, he started up in Ballymun, because I'll all know who it is once I say that. And he started the service up in Ballymun. And this lad rings me, the boss, like, you know, and goes, look, give him the tenner. And I said, okay, well, look, I really don't want to. He goes, I'll talk to the manager tomorrow, give him the tenner because it fixes 20 quid. So meet him halfway. And I was like, okay, what's the method to the madness? And he goes, well, if I meet him halfway, it means that there's less chance of him doing something stupid when he goes out. So he's already halfway
Oh,
to
robbing
get
someone.
type of way. And yeah, I didn't want to say robbing someone or doing harm,
Uh-huh.
but that is the facts of it. Do you know, type of way. And so you're looking at these different dynamics that are going on around you, you know. So like you come from the whole bullying and everything else to meeting people halfway. And I get it. You know, when he explained it to me, I was like, I don't necessarily agree with it, but
hmm
I do understand what the madness or the method of the madness is, you know. So obviously gave him out of the petty cash because I actually didn't have a fucking tenner. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's interesting. Yeah, it's really interesting and fair play to you. It's yeah, it's just a lot of money is spent on that could easily build houses to support and have enough more abundance than ever before. You know, it looks good. There's a lot of places. I was only in for breakfast there on Maid Street today, and honest to goodness, give it a shout out there. But there's a homeless, what looks like a whole building. But they all like as I was there for breakfast, they were just popping in and out. That they have their own electrical passcode
Yeah.
key to get in. So yeah, it looks good, all ethnicities, but it looks like it's a secure building that people are sort of managing themselves as opposed to getting kicked out in the morning. Now, I
Yeah.
don't know anything about it. It's the first time I've seen it. That's just my
And
perception
some
based on
services are 24 hours.
watching them walking in and out.
Yeah, some services are 24 hours, so they do go around the clock. I always found it very strange. One of the houses I worked in was on Charlemont Street and had a big glass window at the front door. And you'd be standing there looking out and you'd see, people walking by, normal Joe Soaps, business people, whatever. And you kind of feel like you're locked away from reality because what happens in the house to what happens outside are two totally different things.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the madness that had happened in the house, and I'm talking fights and everything else, and you're just like, like that. I was well up for it. Do you know the type of way? And probably that's where my confidence came from, over the years, because you had to be, right in their faces. You had to put it up to them. Do you know the type of way? You couldn't
Yeah,
back down. If you're the weak link, you're fucked. Do you know the type
yeah.
of way? But there was one thing that I always done for the lads and the ladies that were there. When I worked a shift on the weekend, it was a 72-hour shift, and you'd sleep in the house when you're there. And the one thing I done every weekend religiously, and the manager used to go mad at me, which I didn't care. On a Sunday morning, because it brings me back to my childhood, my mum, she used to do it on a Saturday night or a Sunday morning, make a fry. So
Yes.
he was a chef up Petty Cash was there, and I used to go around to the butchers and I'd haggle with the butchers because I tell them where we're from, and I'd be like, "Come on, give me a fucking deal, give me
Yeah.
something." Type when I'd get whatever, they ring a black pudding or white pudding and a few eggs or whatever, they throw something in, and I'd go back then on the Sunday morning. The lads used to say to me, "Jay, you on in the morning?" And I'd be like, "Oh, if you're not up, you snooze, you lose.
Yeah.
Don't get stressed." Do you know what I mean? So I'd be in the
Yeah.
kitchen from early, and I'd be sweating me fucking hoo-ha, fucking cooking a fry, the type of way. And I'd be leaving eating the scraps myself, but I loved it. And the
Yeah.
lads used
Yeah.
to love it, and I suppose they liked me for that piece, the type of way.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was from my background, you know what I mean? So they connect with you.
Yeah.
If you said you were a social worker, straight away you're basically telling them you're a Garda. Do you know the type of way?
Yeah. Back in the
They
day.
look at you different, so it was brilliant. And I loved it. It was a journey in my life. For me to look back on, I know I'm sharing it with yourself and everyone else that's
Mm-hmm.
going to look at it. And I loved the work. I loved the people I met. I loved the people I worked with, which was a lot of younger people, a lot of young females as well that worked there,
Mm-hmm.
that were more solid than me. Do you know the type of way where, like, it was funny to see them, in action. Do you know the type of way putting it up to people and telling them to back the fuck off or get the fuck out of my face. And I'm like, "Oh, sorry, you're like 5 foot tall." Do you know what I mean? Like, what the fuck, And then I had to be, okay, well, I need to grow up here because if she can do that, I better be behind her. Do you know the type of way to back her up?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like it was a crazy part of my life. Like, you're going from quiet days to extreme days to resuscitating people and using defibs, the type of way. And it's just, you get it all in one. It's a great learning. It's a great learning. I
Yeah.
think that opened my eyes up to social care more than because you're living in something that's so chaotic. You don't know what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds. But
Yeah.
I loved it,
Crazy.
and it helped me pay, a wage and get money in, and helped me look after my kids, So I'm
And
grateful for the opportunity that I got to work with them.
incredible. Learn some good life skills and also um be of service to others.
Yeah,
What comes up for me, as you say, that they love the fry. They're like, "How are you on in the morning?" It's just bringing a humility to them
yeah,
because there's no us and them. It's just us, really.
yeah,
You know. Um, and for people, what I've experienced through chatting to some people who are homeless and all of the labels that you put on them, uh, they feel a level of disconnect, like
absolutely.
they're they're not human because because a lot of them beg and a lot of people walk past and they don't even look at them.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's inhumane in some cases, and a lot of them download that programming or that belief that they're less
yeah,
than because of X, Y, and Z. So fair play to you on that.
thank you.
And just moving on, the bullying. Last question on the bullying before we carry on with the rest.
Yeah.
What would you say? So you were around 15. 16. What would you say to people who might be listening to this today that have a kid that's being bullied, or people who are bullies themselves? What would you say to the bullies?
That's a good one,
Hmm.
you know. I think to a bully, they need to really have a look at themselves, you know. They need to look at themselves and actually take a bit of time to themselves and actually understand to why they're impacting this on other people, and inflicting this pain on other people. And I know there's a number of reasons why people would do it, you know, and we'd all go, oh, well, it's because of the background. No, look, it's not always because of the background, do you know, the type of way.
Hmm.
It can be just your bollocks at the end of the day, you know. But take a step back, look at yourself, look at the impact you're having on people. And big thing I say to people, it costs nothing to be kind. You get more respect, and you're getting further down in your life with more respect from people if you're nicer to them,
Hmm.
and it'll cost you nothing. Um, so take a step back, have a look at what's going on in your own life, which isn't easy, especially when you're young, you know, with everything that's going on in the world nowadays. Like, it's a fucking chaotic place. And I would hate to be, you know, 15, 16, like my daughter is 9, 14 and 24. I'd hate to be back living their age now, but like that, I'm here for them, do you know, the type of way,
Hmm.
as well as, you know, my family is here for them, you know. But take a step back, look at yourself, look at what's going on in your own life, and maybe just try and put yourself in the position of the person being bullied, you know, and see how they're looking at life from their eyes.
Hmm.
Because the court that comes to, you know, when you're being bullied, you question everything. Um, you question what you're putting out there. You question your art. You question everything. You know, like, that would be one part of me life that I would love to change.
Hmm.
You know, like that. It's made me to who I am today, because it's all just built into one.
Hmm.
And so
100%.
in some way I'm thankful for it, you know, because I've experienced it, so I know it. The people that are being bullied, talk about it.
Uh-huh.
Talk to you, talk to me, talk to their mum and dad, talk to their brothers and sisters, talk to their teachers. This whole thing of, you know, you're ratting on someone if you're going on about it. By no means do you ratting on anyone. You don't have to mention a name. You know, you don't have to go, Dara is bullying me. You know, you don't have to mention anyone's name. You just need to talk about it. And I think if you talk about it with people, your peers, in some sort of aspect of things, once you know yourself, once you share it, you have it.
Hmm.
And so someone might have an answer for you then to how you could deal with things, or might be able to help you deal with that person a bit different, you know.
Hmm. Epic. Well done. Um, James, coming back into your professional life now, um, you mentioned that you have around 200 staff in Barróg, the
Yeah.
healthcare service that you provide. You have 200 staff. How many patients, or yeah, how many patients do
Clients.
you work with? Patients, clients, and
Yeah.
how far all over Ireland? Like, are you just Dublin, Ireland? What's the
So
jazz with that?
no, do you know what, we're everywhere. We are in Dublin, Kildare, probably touching a bit of Wicklow. Um, Cork is a big area for me.
Hmm.
Do a lot of disability work in Cork. Um, it's the plan is to grow Barróg, um, until it's double and triple its size that it is now. For just to keep going. When I started at Barróg, originally, like, I started at Barróg in February 2019, it was to keep it small,
Wow.
you know, was to go 30, 40 people, manage it all myself, and maintain it. To me, just working 5 days a week, and it just started growing. It just started getting bigger and bigger, and I started the business with not much behind me at all. At all, I'm talking a few grand, um, and I took an absolute chance. Um, I just had a few ideas, but I think it was my approach, um, with the new ideas that I had for the new services, the day services and stuff like that, and the residential care that we do. After care was a big thing, kids coming out of care that we look after.
Hmm.
Um, But adults, they suppose if I say kids, they'll give out to me, so young adults. But yeah, I look at there. I love it. I am one of the luckiest people on this planet because I love going to work.
Mhm.
I'll feck off on a holiday tomorrow. I'll be gone for 2 or 3 days and I'll be on the phone and on the laptop like yourself, we'll bounce around the place and we can still work. But going out there and meeting people, I walked into my office the other day and one of the clients is there and I'm in and what's the story, brother? And he knows they don't know me from Adam and I'd say they're looking at me going, is this just one of the new staff? Or whatever. And I'm just in there going, what's the crack of you well? And people are going, that's your man James, do you know what I mean? And I'm like, fuck off, telling people who I am. Just leave it at James, that's it.
Yeah.
No more, no less.
Humble.
But yeah,
I love it.
I love what I do. I love what I do, and I'm blessed to be in the position that I am, to be doing it. I have some really lovely people working for me. I have some people that are absolutely mad and mental
Mhm.
and come from the same backgrounds that I come from Glendalough, Ballyfermot, Cherry Orchard, all walks of life, the type of way. And then down in Cork, it's the same thing, you have all walks of life. And yeah, look, I love it. I can't like say it enough to you. I
Yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah. Look, in my opinion, it's when we say all walks of life, in my opinion, it's people who come from the areas that we have grown up in that understand the struggles in those areas the most.
Yeah,
And in terms of mentorship and helping people to get through their predicament, whether it be drugs, ailments, trauma, again, that's why I do what I do. I love what I do, and it's like I'm in Dublin right now, and once I have my laptop and my phone, I can connect with anywhere in the world, and people that I do. But yeah, having people from those areas passing on that wisdom, it's a shortcut. That's the way I see mentors. It's a
absolutely. Yeah,
shortcut. Why go through the struggle for 10, 15, 20 years when you can have you have somebody who's already done it that can
yeah.
get you there in 2 or even 1 or even a few months. Do you know, I think mentors are like the ultimate education or the ultimate tool for taking shortcuts to where you want to be in life.
And I love that word you use, mentor.
Hmm.
Because all of my staff that work, the managers, team leaders, all the staff that are on the floor, that's what they are.
Uh-huh.
They're mentors. And I love the way you've said that word to me now because that's going to stick with me.
Hmm.
We'd go social care worker or healthcare assistant or whatever it is. The type of way. Well, yeah, mentor like that, and that's what it is. Like they're all here to help. They're all here to help whatever your needs are.
Hmm.
We're here to help with that client to whatever it is, whatever's going on in their lives.
Hmm.
I said this before in me peak or Barróg, like there's always someone there on the phone. Like it's a huge networking system that we have here. Everyone has my phone number. Everyone, my door is open in my office all the time. People can walk into the office and come in and just sit down with me if they want.
Uh-huh.
Not a lot. I would love if more people took me up on it. I'll be honest with you.
There you go.
I want
All
to
the
get out there and
staff.
meet more people.
Wink, wink.
But just get in here and say hello to me and let's shoot the breeze. The type of way. I'm nothing fucking special. I'm just here to pass on, what I have in life and what I can offer in life, and then I hire people for the stuff that I can't do. You know,
Mm.
as I said in my meetings this morning, we were going for a meeting, and I was like, I don't have all the answers.
Mm-mm.
Jesus, I was like, not a fucking hope. Like, you know what I mean? I have 25% of the 100% of answers that you're looking for. But
I love it.
I'll come back to you with the answer, and if I don't have it, there's someone within the organization that will have that answer for you, and I'll come back to you with something. So,
Yeah, epic. And great recognition on the mentors piece there, because not only are they mentors to each other, like they're mentors to you and you're mentors to them. So it's the
absolutely.
same for everybody. We the more, and this is where the school system as well sort of bugs me. The way we do
Yeah.
tests and exams and
I don't
studies and
agree
all
with
of that. Yeah, I don't agree with it either.
it.
Like, where in life, you're obviously a businessman, a successful businessman, a family man, but where in life where people are who have achieved things, good things, great things, family things, whatever in life, that haven't received support along the way. Where in
Yeah,
the system, where the school system is designed to separate, doesn't teach you how to learn, it teaches you how to memorize,
yeah,
you
absolutely.
know? So I think, yeah, each and every person, there's a lot of younger people who are mentors as well that knows, like technology,
Absolutely.
for instance.
Yeah, but
I
if you look
haven't
at
a
Andrew,
clue how to do
Andrew,
this yet.
Andrew's 22.
Yeah,
Like, you know, like
he's
I'm
a weapon.
like, what does he be doing on the computer? He can turn a video around in 30 seconds. Do you know the type of way?
He's an
You
animal.
know, like, and like Andrew Heaney, like, I'll give him a bit of a shout out there, you know, for his new company that he's doing, and he's flying. Like, you know, he's a great lad, you know. Now he's really mad with his ADHD. You know, he can't sit down for 10 seconds. Do you know the type of way? But
Yeah, yeah.
I find it funny, like, you know. So yeah, he's a good lad to know and have on air side, you know.
Yeah, yeah, and he's an absolute gentleman. The podcast I done with him was epic. It's episode number 2. He was actually the first person I recorded. I recorded
Brilliant.
his episode before mine.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, no, that's epic. And now just transitioning into another business that you own, Motor Zone, which touches on a lot of fun stuff like that. 1100 fucking masterpiece you have sitting beside you there, or beast.
yeah.
The M-powered BMW. But you know, Motor Zone, give us a heads up on what life is like in that world.
So motors on, we're only sort of starting it back up again. My method behind it was the lad that like that Don that's working there, young lad, early 20s, very capable, real bright lad. You can see he has that push. He should definitely own his own business. So we were talking over the last while about Motors On, and like originally Motors On was something that I bought last year, off a lad, and I won't go into things too much, but I bought it and it didn't really work very well.
Hmm.
So kind of bought a dead dog, you know, and it took a lot to get it to where it was. And it had only started working February, March time. And my ex partner was running it for me. She was working out there a lot and done a lot of good things with the business. But like that, we had good lads working for us, and that's thanks to her. So I'm beginning to get a little bit of a choke in the owl fucking throat there, you know. But look, we'll move on. So Motorzone had a very rocky, little bit like your relationship, very rocky ending. Um, it burned down. There was a fire there on the 8th of April in that part of the building. There was a number of organisations there. I won't go through all their names. There was another organisations there in the engine block, so everyone would know from the engine block to what was there. I owned Motorzone, and it was being ran by my partner at the time, and it was doing quite well. It was actually fucking flying. It was really going well, and there was a fire there on the 8th, and the whole building from 9:15 up until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Myself and herself were out there till I'd say the death, but it was the death of the business. So it burned to an absolute crisp. There's a part of it on my social media, but if you go into the engine block, you'll see all the fires, you know, all the fire service that were there and everything else. But it was um huge traumatic piece of my life because we had put so much into it. Um, you know, we literally worked day and night to try and come up with ideas to how we could make the business work. And it was beginning to work. And I think that was the bigger kick in the bollocks, you know,
Hmm.
was it was beginning to go somewhere. It was beginning to, you know, make a bit of money. It was beginning to turn a bit of dollar, and the staff were happy. You know, we were new equipment was all being used. It was flying, and then obviously look, these things happen in life. Something we didn't see. And I remember I was living in Rackhill at the time, and I was actually moving house to where I am now. And I was sitting in the house, and I was having an ale whiskey. Um, and I got a text off someone to say, what's going on in the engine block, or motors on one or the other. And I was like, Jesus, I don't know, like it's 9:15 or 8:30 at night, whatever it was. So I went on to my cameras, and I could see smoke in the building. And I was like, oh, fuck, you know, because we had a big oven out the back and a lot of gas and stuff like that. I thought it was us after causing,
Uh-huh.
this catastrophic fire. Now it happened from another human error, but like that, it is what it is. There's no grudge. I still talk to the lads that own that business. It is what it is. It's life. Do you know the type of way?
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That's an accident. It's an
we
accident.
rebuilt. It was absolutely an accident. So myself and my ex flew over that night. We got there and we stayed there for the night to watch it literally go from a fire that was looked like it was being contained, and then it was smoke damage, and then later on the night, like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, the whole place just erupted within 10 minutes, and it was gone. So I know we talk about trauma. I went back out there afterwards to take a picture of um the building for the insurance company, and when I went back out there, I actually done a video, like literally off the back. I done a video of myself out there, and it was, yeah, it was mind blowing. Like literally, because so much had happened to me. I told you, I split up with my girlfriend in April as well, at the end of April, start of May, and the business went. I was like, what the fuck is going on?
Uh-huh.
I know we want to talk about the positives of it, and we'll come to that, but it was just a crazy part of my life for this year. And like that now, it's to try and rebuild it. So my whole, as I sort of went on a bit of a rant there, so I'm sorry.
No,
Um,
don't be sorry. It's that's what we're here for. It's
my
all
whole
welcome.
side of it now with Motorzone was to rebuild it to a small unit,
Mhm.
to a smaller Motorzone to what it was before, because it cost me a fortune the last time. So just to do it on a budget this time, and to hand it over to Don then, and he'd buy the business off me. And I mean, I'm talking nothing. Like I see great things in him, and
Uh-huh.
I think he can move the business onto another level. So he just needs to tweak himself a little bit and be more comfortable on camera, and be a little bit more out there and a little bit more outgoing, and probably a little bit more mad like myself at times, I can just jump on and do a video when there's no one around, not when I'm sitting here on a podcast with you and I'm stressed, but but I think he can bring it on to the next level, and that's what I want to do. I want to build it for him, and then he'll take it over, and then I'll
Mhm.
just take a step back. I would love to see myself staying with some sort of buzz around cars, and I am talking to another lad there, um, Darren Coleman, they run a competition site, and they're just messers with cars. They just act the bollocks, and they've some amazing cars, some amazing machines that they have out there. And I'm going to meet Darren this week and have a chat with him about maybe some input he can have into the business. So Motorzone is not quite there yet, but over the next while, and I need to spend more time at it myself.
Mhm.
Um, I think I've kind of just, I think we talk about trauma because of the connections that I had with Motorzone, and then when I was starting it up, I was like, yes, this is brilliant, full steam ahead, let's go. And now I'm doing it, and I'm just a little bit standing at the door, the type of way, because of the memories that it would have had for me before. Now, obviously, it's a new building, it's a new location, it's a whole new setup. What we're doing is totally different, but I'm still sitting on the fence, as you would say, the type of
Yeah,
way.
yeah. I
Not
hear you.
ready to jump back in the water. I'm just teasing myself with it. But I know that, and I'm aware of it. So I know over the next few weeks, I'm going to need to actually get my finger out and give it a bit of a push, get a
Yeah.
few organised for Don, put a bit of structure in place, because that's, what I love doing is putting structure in place. And I have a lot of people that come to me at different organisations and ask me about advice for stuff like that. So put a bit of structure on it, and then hopefully in the next 3 to 6 months, it'll be running quite smooth, and then just give it on to someone else and let them bring it on to the next level. And it's my way of believing in someone else
Uh-huh.
and give them a brand that's there. That brand had not a great name, and I had a struggle over a few months, but then it came to a really good name, I believe.
Yeah.
It came to
Yeah.
something that was somewhere cool to go, somewhere that was good, and we were really good at what we done.
Mhm.
Not saying perfect, we weren't perfect, nothing is perfect, if I knew what perfect was, sure, look, we'd all be
We'd all be
we leave it there, right?
squeaky clean. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So, but yeah, so look, it's just to give him and like that, it's mentoring him, to help him get down the line a little bit. And then I'm going to give him the company, and I'll see it might mix in with something else that'll help him. And I might just stay a little bit involved in it, do you know, the type of way. And like that, because I'm a petrol head and
As a
it's
passion
hard,
project.
I can just throw me eye in every now and again, or I could get out and, chainsaw a car in half, or I don't know, think of something mad to do, do you know, the type of way. Fucking into a car and blow
Just
it,
for just to light up a Wednesday afternoon. But it's incredible. What I say about a true leader, a true mentor, it's not what you can do for yourself, it's what you can do for others.
Yeah,
And how many people you can bring along for the journey is
absolutely.
what I see as true wealth. It's in my opinion, invaluable. So what you're doing with that chap is legendary. Fair play to you. It's an absolute it's very inspiring. So you're involved, you've actually, while we're here, well, it's the same question actually. It falls in line. You're involved. What's your role in is it the Bumblebee 5000
So
or
the
1000?
Bumblebee 1000.
Yeah.
I got involved in that just. I don't have any ownership in it. I've no say in it. PJ Hart and his son Dylan, and his wife and daughter, they look after all of that. They were blessed, I'll be honest with you. They're lovely people. I think, do you know what, going back into the whole a few years ago, you talk about trauma. When I was a toiler by trade, I used to have my own business. And back in the recession, I lost my business, the toiling business. And it was fucking struggle. It was an absolute shock to the system. I could have done things better. I should have done things better to help myself. But like that, I got myself in a rut to what I could do, and like I started doing door work in town, then I became a healthcare assistant, and I went into social work. And when I talked to PJ about some aspects of his life, he had gone through the same thing. And he had lost friends of his, back in the recession. There was a lot of people suicide. It was an easier way out, I suppose, for a lot of people because of, we had all gone from 2001 to 2006, 7, and, it was the Celtic Tiger. What do you want? You want €1 million for a house for a mortgage? The bank was fucking throwing money at you. So we were all living well beyond our means. And like that, PJ had sort of been through the same thing, which I liked. I got that connection from him. And I'll be honest with you, meeting the people that do the Bumblebee, there is no bad person on it. We're all with a charity, Little Blue Heroes, which is with kids with disabilities and terminal illnesses. And that's what does it for me, because I let everyone sit in my car. I don't care what car it is. I don't care if the car me $5,000 or $500,000. Everyone sits in it. Everyone experiences it. And I want to share that with everyone. And 99.9% of the lads that do the Bumblebee, it's the same thing. So a big shout out to them. And do you know what? This year I done it, and I met Andrew. Andrew was to do it with someone else, and he was let down on the last minute. So that morning we were getting ready to do the Bumblebee, and I met Andrew a few years ago. And I'll tell you about that in a second, because he's a fucking mad thing, Many years ago. That morning we were sitting there, and I was on my own. I had my grey Mercedes, and he came up to me. He was like, what's the crack, bloody bar, chatting away. And he goes, who are you doing it with? And I'm doing it on my own, I'm actually just doing it to clear my head, because I've had so much going on in my life. And this is the weekend. Just back the bollocks in the car, be on my own, listen to the tunes, listen to the car. And he was like, I've no one to do it with. Can I jump in with you? So I was like, absolutely, of course. Once all your stuff fits in the boot of the car, jump in.
Not that light he has set up there, anyway.
His drones and everything else, so that's how we ended up doing it together. It was literally 5 minutes that morning, like we were getting ready to go, and he had no one to get a jump in a car with. So we ended up doing it the whole weekend together and hanging out, the type of way. So everything happens for a reason. Since then,
100%.
Made a few videos. He's made a few videos for me. With my kids, when we went to like Ibiza, he made a video for me with the kids, and they went to Coldplay last week. You know what I mean? I had tickets for Coldplay, and I gave 2 away through Motorzone. And then I had actually bought tickets for someone in my past, and I gave them their 2 tickets
Yeah.
because they were more excited to see the concert than me.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I hope they really enjoyed it. And then Andrew went with a girl he knows, and then my 2 daughters, Jessie and Cara, went, and they met Andrew on the way. He actually got them a horse and carriage.
Of course
So,
you did.
like, you're like, he rang me, never guess what we're on, and I'm like, go on, I'm sitting in Spain, like, and he was like, go on, give me a laugh. And the girls are sitting there, and there's like, the horse isn't here, and we're sitting in the fucking carriage. And I was like,
You gotta push it yourself.
So I was like, so the horse and carriage. So yeah, so he brought them in. So he done a video for me, which is up on me social media. I don't know if it's on his page, to be honest, which is like killing me for that. But yeah, it's up on me page, and it was good to see that they had a good time. You know, took away, and it's all about sharing that experience. But back to the Bumblebee, that's how we met again after knowing each other from a few years ago.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but the Bumblebee 1000. Anyone that's not following it, follow it. 100 supercars, 100 like-minded people like myself that are just here to share the experience. And I think, you stick within your own little group on it. But this year I've done it on my own as such, and we just talk to everyone.
Yeah.
I will say hello to the fucking door who will say hello back to me, the type of way. So yeah, yeah.
Oh,
So that,
on
we
the
were sitting
exact
down.
same.
We were sitting downstairs at the end of like day 2 or whatever, and like it's a black tie event, and I'm like, fuck, Jay, is seriously like, I wear jeans and runners and a t-shirt to work, like, like throw a
Yeah.
shirt on me if I have a meeting, if I have to, or if I'm going out, I throw a shirt on me, and we're sitting downstairs at the lift, and I'm having a point, and he's sitting there and he's editing, what he does, he bang, 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 and music is going, and everyone that's coming up to the lift, it's mainly men that do it with their partners, or it's mainly just men that do it, it's like way. So everyone
Yeah.
coming up to the lift, and I'm going, what's the story, you well? And yeah, hey, Jay, what's the crack, you well? Yeah, and whatever their names are, and Michael and Darren and Frank and Jim and whatever else. And I'm like, you having a good run? You having a good, everyone's going deadly. And they're all laughing at me and him because we're getting Garda escorts, like we're doing should I say it? 100 odd mile an hour in a Garda escort. It's like when I'm like, Jesus, usually they're behind me chasing, it's like out in front of us, So for the weekend that I was in it, I thought it was going to be a bit of a downer because I was doing it on my own, and it turned out to be a really good weekend, and I got to meet a lot of really nice people. And when I do the event, I'm probably the first out of everyone that goes to bed. People to be going, where are you going? And I'm like, I'm done. Once I'd have 2 or 3 drinks. I'm not a big drinker.
Yeah.
And I'm on the bed. I'm gone because I can't deal with the hangover. And then you're getting back into the car and everything else that was going on in my life at the time. I was like, just 2 or 3 points, have me dinner, be polite, and then leave. I'm sorry, I'll just say hello to one of my really good friends, Stephen Talbot,
Yeah.
and his wife Helen. They done a lovely story about one of their kids that passed away a number of years ago, and they stood up and they done a speech that night, and it was beautiful. I'll be honest with you, it's made me want to cry now. And I was fucking sobbing like a baby, but it was lovely. He owns a healthcare company as well, and he does a lot of work in the same line as me. But they're just good, genuine people. They're nice people, And you can hear me throat is gone there.
Yeah, of course.
So, but yeah, I hope they don't mind me saying that about them. But it was lovely for them to share, and this is what this is. It was lovely for them to share part of their life with 200 people that were in the room. To go in to talk about it. So yeah, it was good. I'm gonna just leave it there because I'm
amazing, and some sending love to them. Sending love to them too. Just coming back to the Little Blue Heroes and the whole reason of the Bumblebee 1000. How much did the Bumblebee and the whole charitable thing raise?
So we done one. We last year. I didn't actually do it last year.
Well, just this year.
This year. So this year we raised just over €200,000, and then there was another 35,000, I think, raised with another small event that we done, with PJ and his wife, and that done about a month and a half ago, and then they're doing a small event in September, middle to the end of September, but unfortunately I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
So I would love them to be part of it, but I'm not here that weekend. So yeah, but
Hmm.
look, big shout out to them. You know, they do, and the guards that are involved with them, with the Little Blue Heroes. Like you go onto Little Blue Heroes site and you see all the guards go out and meet all the kids, and they nominate them as guard. You know, into the guard system, so they give them their little uniform and their hats and all that type of stuff.
Ah,
They
Jesus.
go out on the guard cars and whatever and stuff like
The
that. You know, we've gone out like a few times in some of the supercars and just showed up at events, you know, the type of way, or showed up at people's house to show them the cars and let them have that experience, you know. Like
ah.
one lad, this was my first event with them, was probably a few years ago. And we met in Crow Park around
Hmm.
Christmas time. And there was a young lad that were saying that wouldn't see Christmas. And he wouldn't get there. I think he was 12 or 14. And he got to see Christmas, he got to see the New Year, and then early in January he passed away. But I think it was about 10 or 15 was went and met him, just to show him the cars. And
Oh,
we had a
like,
different great Merc then, and with a few Lamborghinis and McLarens, Porsches and stuff like that with us. So it was great to bring the cars to him. And then on his funeral, we went out and met his family and brought a few of the cars out to the funeral mass and stuff like that. So yeah, I know we talk about all the good things in life and everything else, but the stresses and strains that families are going through at the moment, we have no idea of it. We're
uh-huh.
not living. I know we
Mhm.
have our own stresses and strains, and I've had a rough year, but it's not. It's fucking nothing.
Doesn't
So
compare. Yeah,
yeah,
I
so big
huge
shout out.
respect.
You like they do amazing work. Amazing
Yeah,
work. All fucking salt of the earth. They're all
yeah,
really, you know.
huge respect. So anybody again that's listening to this on any of the listening platforms, follow along for the Little Heroes journey, and whatever way you can be charitable
Yeah,
to that organisation and give back to these kids that most
yeah,
definitely need it. And get to live the most fulfilling life they can with the
yeah,
time they have left. So huge love, man. That's so. Uh, I nearly broke down myself listening to that one. I have two final questions for you, James.
yeah, absolutely.
One, we'll start with the cars.
Yeah.
What cars do you have? A fleet of cars, or do you just chop change cars?
So I just chop and change cars.
Hmm.
I don't have anything particular that I would drive. Like I have a Jeep at the moment. I have a Porsche Jeep that I'm driving on a daily at the moment. But I'll buy anything. I think, look at this fucking yacht behind me, for fuck's sake. I'll
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
anything. I'll
Only
buy
full of
anything that
curry
just,
by the end of the night.
yeah, anything fast, anything that's a little bit different. I try and pick things that are a little bit different to what everyone else would have. And like that, the grey Mercedes that I had, like there was only one, on the Bumblebee,
Hmm.
in that colour, the type of way. So I try and buy things that are a bit different. But like that, I'm living the dream, when it comes to that side of things.
Uh-huh.
As we've said before, there's a lot of chaos going on in the background.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing the blanket over a lot of things. The cars are a big distraction to me. They always have been. A lot of people say to me, are you going through a midlife crisis? And I'm like, well, if I am, I'm doing it the last 20 years because I've been in cars 20 years. Someone messaged me yesterday when they seen a picture of the bike up and they were like, now we are going through a midlife crisis. Now we've actually put the fucking full stop at the end of midlife crisis. Bike, are you
Yeah.
something wrong with you? Yeah, there is something wrong with me. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'll just keep on going with it, keep on pushing ahead. I don't know what I'm going to buy next. Um, there's a car coming in from the UK this week for me, from a friend of mine in European Prestige in the UK. He sources all my cars for me, and he's landed something over for me this week. But like that, I'm not going to say what it is because I don't know what it's going to be myself. I have a choice of three cars, and I just told him to send one of them
Whatever
over.
he thinks. Fuck
Whatever.
them. I'm sure everyone that's listening to this is like, oh my God, what
Yeah,
the
I
fuck?
know.
Me
You have to keep
included.
the madness going. You know what I mean?
Part of the conversation. It'd be
Yeah,
good to have those types of stresses or headaches, or
yeah,
even not. If there was a headache, you'd be choosing which one comes, but it's clearly not if you're saying send whatever. So
yeah,
fair play to you on that.
yeah.
Final question.
Yeah.
Same question for every guest that comes on. What does success mean to you?
I suppose success means to me, it's your outlook on life, happiness,
Hmm.
fulfillment, and enjoying life. Without the success I have now and I've had to date, I wouldn't be able to enjoy a lot of things that I've been able to do. Um, I've gone on some road trips that blow my mind, that I've never been able to even fathom that I get to go on these things. The
Hmm.
cars that I bought, the places I've been able to go this year and last year, it's just crazy. Some of the people that I've met as well, like it's just madness. So success, it just boils down to, I think, just being happy,
Hmm.
which is the best way for me to put it across. It brings a lot of happiness to me and to my kids, you know. Um, it's to show them that you can come from nothing. Like as I said to you before, my dad works as a fireman. He worked 2 jobs to feed us, so to be successful nowadays, yeah, it's to just happiness, I think that's the best way for me to express it.
Hmm. Epic. James, what an absolute incredible conversation. What an incredible life story. It's been a privilege to have you on. So thank you for all of your wisdom. And where can people find you? The same with the Little Blue Heroes. Where can people find you, your Barróg business, and the Little Blue Heroes? Um, yeah.
So I suppose all social media, Barróg Healthcare, it's on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, bit of YouTube, Motors on, same thing, and Little Blue Heroes and the Bumblebee 1000. Instagram is probably the best place to find it. I know they do a little bit on TikTok and stuff like that as well, for some of the display of the cars that'll be there. But I think Instagram is the best platform to find it. And like that there, it's the privilege has been all mine to meet yourself and to be able to do this today. This is one of them things where, I went out with Andrew on the jet ski. I hate the water. Can't
Yeah.
deal with the water. Can't swim. I can't deal with the water. Went out on the jet ski with him. He frightened me a little bit, so I'm going to get him back at some stage for that. So,
I'd rather the jet ski than
I'm
that
out on a
bike
boat.
behind you.
I'm out on another boat then. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, so yeah, like it's just bringing us all together, so yeah, look, I'm just lucky to be here and just breathing, and every day is a new day and a learning day, so yeah, onwards and upwards.
Legend. James, thanks again. Huge
Thank you.
respect, huge love.